What is going on, YouTube fam? Welcome to the Jonathan Dearman Show. Again, in the car today, and I want to talk about what's on everyone's mind, of course, the coronavirus. And I have some notes here, by the way, so forgive me if you notice I'm looking at these notes. It's too much to memorize, just all in my head. And I'm not in an official studio, but I did actually find an official studio that I can start recording in. Yes, which is so exciting. But that's after, of course, all this blows over. And also, I found a producer for this YouTube channel, someone who's willing to help me record and edit these videos, which is so huge for this channel. So many of you, when I say so many, I'm talking about like 800. So it's not a million, but it is 800 people that mean a lot to me, have stuck around with this channel, even though it's been choppy and how often videos come. But with this new person partnering with me with the new studio, I'm excited that after all of this blows over, we can start releasing videos weekly, which has always been the goal, never been achieved, but now it can be. And now to the important stuff with the coronavirus. So question number one, how serious is this? I mean, those of you that have kept up with any amount of news, you know it's serious what's going on. In fact, it's unprecedented, right? This has never happened before in the history of the United States. Nothing like this has ever happened before. And currently there are 421,000 cases worldwide and about 18,000 deaths. That's the current estimate. By tomorrow, that'll change. And so, of course, it's definitely something to be concerned about and something to take very seriously. However, I don't believe what's happening right now is worth mass panic. And let me clarify, of course, anytime even a single person dies from something like this, it's a tragedy. And so in no way, I want to make clear, am I making light of anybody dying or being hospitalized for something like this? I'm not making light of that at all. However, I don't believe it's worth mass panic, and here's why. If we can take a look at this chart that I'm going to put up for you guys, and this is from bbcnews.com. It's death rates dependent on age groups. Now, again, one more time, anytime somebody dies, it's a big deal. It's a tragedy. We never want it, no matter what. However, if you look at this chart, the overall death rate is between 0.5 and 1%. Some estimates are estimating it between 1 and 2%. It's still much bigger than the flu, which is about 0.1%. The percentage of deaths changed drastically based on age. Thank goodness that this is not strongly affecting children, people in their prime age. Not that they're worth more. However, they do have more years to live statistically than people that are in their 80s plus. It can look like the line, even for the people that are in their 80s, is huge. However, think about it this way. Even if you're in your 80s and you got coronavirus, there's a 92% chance that you're going to live. That's not a low percentage of chance. Now, of course, I wouldn't want to do anything where there's an 8% or 9% chance of me dying. Of course, that number is way too high, but it's not 90% flipped. And some people are treating it like if you contract this virus or if you get this virus, that it's probably the end for you. And the bottom line is it's very seriously not, right? Even people all the way up into their 60s is around 2% or so. You have a 98% chance of surviving. Overall, the death rate, even if it's between 1 or 2%, you have a very strong chance of surviving, even if you contract this virus. Now, I'm not saying that to say that this thing is not serious at all, because it obviously is very serious. It's spreading fast. There are quite a few deaths from it, 18,000 deaths currently worldwide. And so it is a big deal. That's way more serious than the flu. But it doesn't warrant mass panic, in my opinion. The second question, why is it so important to take these measures, right? If you live in the United States and really across the world, you'll see many different countries have taken drastic measures to combat the coronavirus. And why is it so important to take these measures? Is it really necessary? If young people aren't dying from this in large numbers at all, why do they need to stay sheltered in? Why don't we all just be able to willingly choose if we want to put ourselves at risk or not? Well, I have another chart for you. Let's look at this chart. And here's the reason why it's so important that we take these measures. The medical experts do not believe they can stop coronavirus from spreading. Their goal is not to stop the spread unless they come out with a vaccine in an incredibly miraculous amount of time. This virus will spread, but the goal is to slow it down so that we can maintain our healthcare system and it doesn't become overrun. And so that's why you'll see, instead of them wanting drawing a big curve that slopes up and overruns our healthcare system. They're wanting to taper off the curve and to make it smaller and more spread out. That way we can handle it within our medical system. Italy has 69,176 confirmed cases with 6,820 deaths. That's an almost 10% death rate. And the reason why is not because the coronavirus just particularly likes the Italians, is because their healthcare system is completely overrun. And so people that have the coronavirus, they can't even go in and get care because there's not enough beds. There's not enough room for them in their healthcare system, which is exactly what what we're trying to avoid, is a huge bell curve that we can't contain within our healthcare system. So that's why it's so important to comply and to take these measures, is because we're trying to slow the curve as much as possible. Question number 3, what about the economy? Now, the economy has taken a huge hit. Some are predicting that unemployment rate will rise all the way to about 30%, which is crazy. That would happen. And President Trump has talked about wanting to make sure that we revamp the economy, that we get the economy running again and we get it strong again. And some people are slamming him for this. Now, some people are saying people are dying. How can you be talking about the economy? Who cares about the economy when people's lives are at stake? You hear some people saying whatever it takes to save even one life is worth it. Personally, that sounds good. It's just not true. While it sounds good and I get it, every single life is precious. My life is dedicated to helping people as much as I possibly can. That's my goal, is to value even one person. However, that's just not reality in the real world. Unfortunately, I wish it could be, but it's not, right? We do things all the time that if we in America stopped doing, it would save lives, right? But everything that we do is weighing the risk versus the value. It can't just be anything that saves a life we have to do, because if that's the case, we would all be stuck in our house, not allowed to go anywhere, not allowed to do anything. So again, every life is important, but we can't make decisions off of if it saves one life, we have to do it. And here's another point that I want to make. The economy is about lives. These are real people we're talking about. People say, well, how can you compare that to people dying? And of course, somebody being unemployed is not as bad as somebody dying. That's of course true. However, when you're talking about some people, let's say single mothers out there that are working paycheck to paycheck, they're trying to live, and now their job, their business that they work at just got closed down, and they're not sure how they're going to buy groceries for the next several weeks. They're not sure how they're going to make it. I mean, these are people's lives. And so the economy is not a game. We're weighing people's lives being affected by the virus and ultimately people dying versus people's livelihood being affected by the economy. And I'm not saying that we should all then, for the sake of the economy, let's just go about our business, everybody be released. Who cares if the virus spreads? It's going to kill who it's going to kill. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, because we're talking about hundreds of millions of people that are going to be affected by this economy, bringing up the conversation of the economy, some people are treating that like that's evil to even bring up that conversation because people are dying. I don't think personally it's evil. I don't want anybody to die from this. But at the same time, we have to be looking at the different costs and risks and values of what we're doing. That's in every policy we make, right? We need to look at the risk. We need to look at the value. We need to weigh them and determine what the best option is moving forward. And I can tell you this, the U.S. economy cannot take, and again, when I say the U.S. economy, I'm talking about people's lives, cannot take this shutdown that we're in ongoing for several months. It cannot take that. People can't go 3 months without a paycheck. And I believe right now there's a bill trying to get money to go into the economy, trying to help people that are unemployed. But there's some partisanship in there, right? The Democrats and the Republicans are having a hard time agreeing on everything. They're having a hard time agreeing because they disagree on policy things or they don't think it's the right call. I get it. But I've seen some political stuff getting in there, trying to make the other side look bad from both sides. I can't stand that stuff. You guys know, if you guys have seen this channel, you already know. I don't even need to go into it, but it's not the time to play politics. Can we take off our little political agenda hat on both sides? And can we work together on this issue? It's not about whether or not you're a Republican or a Democrat. It's about whether or not you're a human being. And we should all be on the same page here. We want to help people. And so again, I'm not against wrestling through the policy to determine what is the best way to go about it, but I am against the little political jabs that I've seen coming from both sides towards the other party, trying to make the other party look bad. Let's just, come on, let's cut that out. This is bigger than any political party. So the bottom line with the economy is, while of course I value someone's life more than someone's job, it is important to weigh, okay, for instance, let me give an extreme example. If we could literally, if there was potential for only 10 people to die, and in order to save those 10 people or potentially save those 10 people, we had to shut down the entire economy and millions of people would lose their jobs, lose their livelihood, would that be worth it? Right? I don't know. My guess would probably be no, you don't shut down the country to potentially save 10 lives. Of course, this is much more than 10 lives, but my point is there is a point when it becomes worth doing some things and not worth doing other things. And so asking the simple question of what can we do about the economy or how can we change? I don't believe it's that President Trump is wanting people to die. Listen, he says some things that I don't like how he says it, but in this scenario, I don't think it's unreasonable for him to be talking about the economy and saying it's important that we get life back into our economy because these are, again, people's lives. Now, with all of that being said, my prediction, now it's scary to put your prediction out on the internet because it's there forever, right? And I could be wrong. I believe the grip will be loosened. And the reason why is because people, small businesses that they're barely paying their rent, they have 30 employees, they're barely being able to make their rent. They can't go months without an income. So I think something has to change. But I think we should do it in as smart of way as possible. And between now and when we start to be released back to go about our normal business, the American government should definitely be working on increasing the medical capacity. That line that we're trying not to pass with that curve of people that are getting the infection, we should definitely try to raise that line where we can take in as many people as possible. Of course, with all of that being said, I want to hear from you guys. Actually, first of all, how are you doing with all of this? Are you fearful? Understandably so. Are you concerned? Are you not concerned at all? Do you think everyone's overblowing this? Do you think this is the right way to go? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you think I'm wrong on something? Which oftentimes I am. I would love to hear your guys' response in the comments. Of course, we will be back, guys. I already told you about the studio, so we'll be back with weekly videos when this whole thing blows over. But I love you all as always, and I'll see you guys at the next Jonathan Dierman Show. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace out.